Hello and welcome back to Her Becoming. I am your host, Kayla Countryman, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Her Becoming is a health and wellness and personal development podcast for women, helping you become the woman that you were sent here to be. What that means is we explore topics from mindset and psychology to health and wellness, movement, nutrition, stress, sleep, purpose, brand building, business, entrepreneurship, truly everything under the sun when it comes to your holistic well-being so that you can close the gap between the woman that you are today and the woman that you are destined to become. So again, I'm Kayla, I am your host, and I'm so happy you're here. Today's episode is really a pep talk. I'm coming at you with my ex-business coaching hat on to give you a little bit of motivation and encourage you to finish the year. I don't want to say finish the year strong. I want to say finish the year intentional, finish the year softly, finish the year lovingly, but above all, to finish. I'll start with a quick check-in of how I'm doing because I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Obviously, I've had a year. If you know, you know. But I will say this current season, I am a sleepy girl. I am tired. My energy is low. I feel like no matter how much I rest and recharge, I just cannot get enough motivation, enough energy. And I know that that has to do with the time of year. In the next episode, we'll really get into winter and living seasonally and why we feel the way we feel. But I do feel like this year, more than previous years, I'm just tired. And I feel like that's the energy that I'm seeing amongst my friends and my family and my loved ones as well. Just tired. I was able to blame my luteal phase a couple weeks ago, but now I'm approaching ovulation and I'm like, why am I still so sleepy? And what happens is we get to a point this time of year where there's just a collective fatigue. The holiday season, winter, it's getting darker earlier. Our bodies want to slow down. And I cannot wait to chat with you in depth about this in the next episode. But I want us to normalize being okay with slowing down. And I also want to differentiate slowing down from giving up, calling it quits, and throwing in the towel. It is so common, especially if you work a corporate job like me, there's this mentality of everything can wait till January. And listen, I'm not complaining about that as far as my 9 to 5 is concerned. But when it comes to my business, my purpose, my goals, my lifestyle, I don't want to throw in the towel. I want to continue on through the end of the year, living intentionally, reaching my goals, and continuing to become the woman that I know that I want to be. I don't want to stop right now, let all of my habits go out the door, and then just pick things up in January. And I don't want that for you either, for a few different reasons. First of all, that puts a lot of pressure on January. Poor January didn't ask for us to make it this stressful month to reinvent your entire life. Instead of putting everything out the window right now and reinventing in January, what if we just brought a little bit more intention into this time of year and took the baby steps, took the gentle forward motions to stay as close to our routines and our habits as we can instead of giving up completely. You don't need to hustle this time of year. I will never encourage hustle, hustle, hustle through the winter. That's not what this season is for. But I think direction is really important. I think that having a plan and understanding why you're doing what you're doing this time of year is more important than other times. So let's talk about why we are all so collectively fatigued and burnt out this time of year. I think it goes without saying, and in the last episode, we talked about the holidays, navigating holiday connections, relationships, family gatherings, that sort of thing. There's just so much going on this time of year. People are trying to accomplish things by the end of the year, especially in corporate America and in our jobs. People are rushing for sales and rushing for campaigns and just rushing for things to launch. There's this false sense of urgency that's happening that dysregulates our nervous system, like we talked about in episode 29. Our calendars are full. There is just every party, every plan, every dinner, every brunch, every gathering, it seems like is happening at the end of November and throughout December. We have shorter days, which affects our energy and our mood. So not only is there more going on, but we actually have less capacity for what's going on. So there's like this inverted relationship between our ability to hold and then what's happening in our calendars that can be really discombobulating. And then that's leading us to feel disconnected from our body because while that's happening, we are also trying to give back and please and show up for people and buy all the gifts. And again, just leading to this disconnection from what our body needs in order to feel nurtured. So there may be a lot of reasons that you're feeling burnt out, but I think those are some of the main ones that we can all agree on are happening and existing right now in this current season. And so when that's happening, of course, it can feel really easy to say, I'm just going to stop this thing until January. I'm just going to stop training for the 5K. I'm just going to stop the business plan. I'm just going to stop starting this new hobby. Those are the things that are bringing us fulfillment. But because of the overwhelm of the things that we feel like we should do or have to do, we start to let go of the things that we want to do, the things that actually bring us this sense of joy. And so I really want to encourage you not to let that happen. Just because you feel overwhelmed in one part of your life doesn't mean that the thing that you sacrifice is the thing that fills your cup. This could be your business. This could be your hobby. This can be philanthropy. This can be quality time with your friends. Like there's so many things that you can take this to mean, whatever feels right for you. I know for me as a business owner, it's my company, it's my brand, it's this podcast. It would be so easy for me at this time of year to just throw in the towel. Say, we'll pick it back up in January, because the truth is I am overwhelmed. I am tired. I don't feel like it. I didn't want to record today. That's just me being honest. I am tired too. But like I always say, if I'm going to show up in every other area of my life, my job, my relationships, my family, if I'm going to show up there, I am going to also show up here, because this is the vision that I'm building that is so much greater than what I can even see. And it's important that I continue to nurture that. So whatever that is for you, please don't give up on it right now. Please keep pushing. And I'm not talking about go all or nothing, no days off, no rest. But I do want to encourage you to find your motivation again, even in the smallest capacity. Even just the smallest bit of motivation can go such a long way in this season. So let's talk about some ways that you can find motivation again to keep proceeding forward in whatever it is that you're pursuing. So the first thing that's important to do is to lower your expectations. We are in winter. You are not going to be able to accomplish everything that you were able to accomplish in the same amount of time over summer or in spring, when it's brighter for longer and you have more energy. Like I said, we can't ignore this collective fatigue that happens this time of year. It's normal. It's okay. You are not broken. To combat that, lower your expectations. This is something that, if I'm being honest, I really struggle with this, especially as someone navigating a full-time job, coaching, teaching yoga, doing this podcast. I'm trying to do it all. And I had to get real with myself a few days ago and sit down and prioritize. That was me lowering my expectations. I cannot show up fully in every single category that I would like to right now. So instead, where am I going to choose to put my energy? Maybe it is just one or two things instead of 4 or 5. That is my version of lowering my expectations. It also looks like taking the rest. Even though, like I said, I feel like I just cannot get enough rest right now, I'm just resting more. I'm just letting myself take the naps and take the extra hour of sleep and maybe even skip the morning workout. That is me lowering my expectations to make space for the things that I know I need to continue to pursue. I'm not saying put your expectations on the floor. That's not what I'm saying. But can you lower them? Instead of forcing yourself to go to 5 workout classes this week, can you go to 3? and maybe take a couple extra walks instead. That's what I mean. If you're a business owner, maybe instead of posting content every single day, you can post content 2 to 3 times a week. That's what I'm saying. Another way to find motivation, and this one has been exceptionally hard for me lately, is to push through the thing that you don't want to do, even the small things. This has been showing up for me a lot, especially in my house. The last thing I feel like doing these days has been chores, emptying the dishwasher, putting out the trash cans, meal prepping, cleaning. Again, I just want to lay down. Like, it's been so cloudy and rainy in Phoenix, and wow, am I glad to live somewhere that it's usually sunny, because now I know how I would behave if I didn't live here. The clouds, the rain, the cozy vibes is dangerous. I want to be horizontal. And so I have found it like walking through mud simply to do the things that are just normal things for me. And it's important that I do them anyways. Even though I don't feel like meal prepping, I'm going to do it. Even though I don't feel like emptying the dishwasher, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put on a song and I'm going to knock it out. Because the reality is, if we give in to that desire to not do the thing, we are just creating more burden for ourselves moving forward. That's why it's important that you don't just throw in the towel right now, especially if you're a business owner or you're aspiring to be a business owner and you're deep in that planning phase. If you throw in the towel right now, you are creating more work for yourself later, right? If I don't empty the dishwasher right now and I let the dishes pile up, imagine me coming back to my sink in a few days and now I have this mountain of disgusting muck to handle. That's the analogy that I'm going to use because it's realistic and it's true. What if instead you just put your dishes away little by little? Every single time you eat goes in the dishwasher. As soon as the dishes are clean, you empty the dishwasher and you call it a day. You are creating less work for yourself by being more consistent, but doing the things that you may not feel like doing. That's what this season feels like. Keep pushing forward, even when you don't want to. This can also look like going to that morning workout. Maybe you go to a later class, or maybe you go, like I said, 3 times instead of 5, but just keeping something in place that will continue to hold you accountable. The reason this is important is because even these little micro habits, such as emptying the dishwasher, making sure your house is tidy, going to the morning workout, these micro habits build self-trust. You are proving to yourself that you are doing the things that you know will make you feel better, the things that you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. When you're able to rely on habit building and consistency instead of motivation, that's where self-discipline is built. And that's when you're able to create the routines and the habits that are beneficial to the person you are becoming. Another way to find your motivation this time of year is to reconnect with your why. As a business owner, I had this moment lately where I was like, I just need to go back to the drawing board. And I feel like that happens frequently for me this time of year, where I'm kind of like, what am I even doing? Like, what do I want for myself? What am I trying to build? What's the direction that I'm going? The best thing I can do is go to a blank piece of paper and just brain dump. Why? Why am I doing this work? Why do I want the things that I want? Why is my vision important to me? When you do that, you're holding up the mirror and looking your purpose in the eyes. And that's really helpful for finding that motivation and getting back into your routine, because you know that working toward that thing is going to give you the life that you want. Doesn't matter if you're having a bad day. It doesn't matter if it's cold and rainy outside. If you can do something even so small that supports your why and supports your vision, you know you'll be better off. And so that's why coming back to your why is so important. And then the last thing here that we'll talk about, as far as finding your motivation again and getting back into some sort of groove this season, even if it looks differently, is asking your body what it needs, not what it should do. In a season of showing up for other people and filling everyone else's cup, it becomes a time where we're doing a lot of shoulds. I should do this. I should go to this place. I should see this person. Pause. Ask your body what it needs from you. Oftentimes in the winter, that is going to be more rest, or that is going to be a nutritious meal, or even some alone time. Stop looking for the shoulds and stop listening to the shoulds, and instead check in with your body. If you're able to listen to your body, you're able to trust your intuition. It's directly connected. Your intuition is speaking to you through signals in your body. The more you can listen to your body, the more you are going to build self-trust. Self-trust also builds confidence. So if you are losing motivation right now and you're feeling a bit lost in your direction and you just want to give up before the end of the year, check in with your body first. Before you just give up, ask your body what it needs in order to feel supported in these last few weeks of the year. I feel really passionately about not throwing in the towel right now, and I keep using that expression, but I just feel like it's so tempting for us to give up and restart in the new year. And I want to talk about the myth of this new year reset, new year resolution, new year, new me. January and the new year happens in the dead of winter. It isn't even a time that's seasonally aligned or aligned with our bodies and our spirits to be restarting something. So when you are pushing everything to January, you're creating all of this extra pressure and work for a January version of you that is, again, in the dead of winter when it's going to be dark and cold and you're not going to feel like it, putting all this pressure on that version of you. There is plenty of time left in this year to be intentional and to make strides towards what you're working on. I keep using the word intention because intention is more important than speed right now. You're not going to be able to move as quickly as you moved through spring, as through summer. It is absolutely a time to slow things down. But intention doesn't have a pace. Intention is, how can I do less and have more of an impact? How can I focus on the quality of my actions instead of the quantity of my actions, especially as a business owner? In September on this podcast, I ran a series called The Reset. And the reset was all about essentially beginning again to accomplish your end of year goals and resetting mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally to get where you wanted to be at the end of the year. If you missed those episodes and you are interested in being more intentional with the rest of your year, I highly recommend going back to the reset episodes. They are labeled and I can link them in the show notes for you as well. If you already listened to the reset series, I want to ask you, what did you hope to accomplish before the end of the year? When you went through the reset, what was one of your main goals that you were working towards or thinking of accomplishing before the year came to a close? And then I want to ask you, based on that goal, where are you? How far have you come? Have you done the things that you said you were going to do in order to accomplish that thing? And if the answer is no, that's okay. I say this so lovingly. That's okay. If you haven't gotten there, there is no judgment, there is no criticism. But what would feel good to complete or maintain right now to help get there? Maybe you won't have time this year to hit the whole goal, but you can make progress. So I also want to invite you to reassess where you are based on that reset. The question that I posed in the reset was, what is something that the end of year version of yourself would thank you for if you started today? You can still do that. Even in this last month of the year, you can still start or stop doing something that the future version of yourself will thank you for. So I'm encouraging you to make a plan. Wherever you are, whatever your goal is, maybe even pick one thing to focus on. Mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, pick one thing. Write it down and have realistic expectations for yourself. Again, lowering expectations is really important in this season. So if you don't have time to hit the entire goal, give yourself grace. Lower the bar. What can you do instead? How can you reframe it to make it doable and realistic for yourself at this point in the year? Is there someone in your life that you can lean on as an accountability partner? I just met with my business bestie, Marissa, and we mapped out some goals that we want to achieve by January. They were so small compared to our yearly goals. They were just baby steps, a couple very doable things we could do to stay consistent, to stay in our rhythm, and to keep moving forward without overwhelming ourselves with unrealistic expectations. So also lean on your community, lean on your people, lean on your friends and family and have people hold you accountable in ways that feel loving and gentle and supportive to this current version of you. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. Remember that slow progress is still progress. It is not all or nothing. You do not have to hustle to the end of the year. You don't even have to finish strong. I don't even know what that means. Maybe we finish strong, maybe we don't. But we're going to finish. And what's more important than finishing strong is finishing with intention, not urgency. There's no rush to get to where you're going. This podcast is all about embracing the journey, embracing the middle, embracing the messy. So that's what I want to encourage you to do now as well. I just want you to keep moving forward. If you have set goals with your nutrition, your exercise, building a business, in your relationships, anything in your life, now is not the time to just stop. Now is the time to reset, to realign, and to approach it in a way that is loving and supportive to this winter season, but to keep going. Keep on keeping on, my loves. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I do want to remind you, I am enrolling one-on-one wellness coaching clients right now. My one-on-one wellness coaching program is a mind, body, and soul approach to helping you become the woman that you want to be. There is a link in the show notes to schedule a one-on-one discovery call with me, completely free, so that I can learn more about you and your goals, and so that you can learn more about the 12-week one-on-one coaching program. It is $300 off right now for anyone who enrolls to start in January. On next week's episode, we will be talking all about the winter season, how you can align your habits and your routines and your mindset to be in flow with nature. It's like one of my favorite topics. I totally geek out on seasonality, so I cannot wait to share that with you. As always, like, subscribe, rate, review, send this episode to a friend who needs a little bit of a nudge, share this show with someone that would enjoy it. It truly means the world to me as someone that is just bootstrapping the hell out of this journey. I will see you on the next episode, my friend, and until then, be well.